So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dongo Alan Opolot, a student pursuing Masters of Public Administrations. I'm in my year 1 first semester, and today I'm going to discuss an assignment on the course unit of Comparative Public Administration, where I'll discuss to you the major tenets of the African Lions administrative system, the major tenets of the Asian Tigers administrative system, the distinction and differences between the two administrative systems, failures of both systems and their successes, and also come up with an approach that integrates both administrative systems. So I'll begin with the major tenets of the African Lions administrative system. The term African Lions is often used to refer to a group of African countries that have shown significant economic growth and development in the recent years. It signifies that, like the Asian Tigers, these African nations have experienced notable economic expansion, industrialization, and improvement in various socio-economic indicators. It recognizes their efforts in implementing policies and strategies to drive economic growth, attract foreign investment, and reduce poverty. These African Lions nations include countries like Ethiopia, Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, and Ivory Coast. And below some of the major characteristics or tenets of their administrative systems. One is strong economic growth. African Lions have achieved sustained economic growth rates that outpace the average for the continent. They have demonstrated resilience and the ability to overcome challenges, resulting in increased GDP, improved infrastructure, and better standards of living. 2, they have diversified economies. These countries have made efforts to diversify their economies beyond reliance on commodities. They have promoted sectors such as manufacturing, service sector, technology, and agriculture to stimulate economic growth and reduce vulnerability to price fluctuations. Number 3 is investment-friendly environment. The African Lions or African countries have put in place strategies that have enabled them to attract foreign direct investments and also have provided a conducive environment for business to take place. Countries like Kenya are been known for their conducive technological environment, which has encouraged a lot of technological advancements to come in and take shape in the country. 4 is the infrastructure development. The African Lions have prioritized infrastructure development. Countries like Kenya have, in the recent past, implemented the construction of the standard gauge railway. They have, when you go to Nairobi, you look at the Thika highway, they have expanded, put in place a very good road network to facilitate movement of labor and capital. You find that when you look at their air transport, they have very big airports that accommodate various number of aircrafts and flights. So all this infrastructure that put in place have encouraged their development. 5 is the human capital development. Recognizing the importance of human resources, African Lions have invested in education, healthcare, and skill development. They prioritize building a skilled workforce that can contribute to economic growth and innovation. 6 is regional integration. We know of the bodies that the African nations have put in place. You talk about the East African Community that talks about free movement of goods and services within the East African Community and Movement of Labour. We talk about the African Union. All these are corporations that have encouraged harmonization of policies and encouraging regional economic communities which aim at fostering collaboration and economic integration. Number 7 is poverty reduction and social development. These countries have implemented programs and policies to address poverty, inequality, and social challenges. They aim to improve access to education, healthcare, clean water, and social safety nets. It is important to note that while the African Lions highlights the progress of these countries, challenges such as governance issues, infrastructure gaps, and socio-economic inequalities still exist. I now go ahead and discuss to you the major tenets of the Asian Tigers administrative systems. So when we talk about the Asian Tigers refer to the 4 Asian nations or the East Asian nations that have highly developed economies. They include Hong Kong, Singapore, South Korea, and Taiwan. These countries experience rapid industrialization and economic growth from the year 1965 to 1995. While they might have had specific sets of characteristics and tenets in the administrative systems, they are certainly a few key tenets that I'm going to discuss about. These economies developed rapidly from that time because they achieved or they put into practice neoclassical and modern practices that enabled them to rapidly develop compared to any other nation. The following are the key tenets of the East Asian administrative systems. 1 is strong government intervention. The governments of the Asian Tigers played a significant role in guiding and supporting their economies. They implemented industrial policies, provided financial support, and fostered close collaboration between the public and private sectors, whereby they encouraged deregulation and free movement of labor. All these are policies that enabled investment and economic or businesses to boom. 2, export-oriented economies. The Asian Tigers focused on promoting exports rather than imports as a means to drive economic growth. They developed industries that could compete globally and targeted international markets for their products. Number 3, education and human capital development. Recognizing the importance of education and skilled labor, the fact that they took the approach of industrial development, they had to put into mechanisms of providing skilled labor for these factories. So the East Asian Tigers encouraged vocational and technical education rather than tertiary education, so that they equip their citizens with skills that are able to work in these factories and produce goods that would propel their nations into rapid economic growth. 4, infrastructural development. To support economic growth, the Asian Tigers invested in developing modern infrastructure, including transportation networks, telecommunications, and power systems. This helped attract foreign investments and facilitated efficient business operations. 5, strong emphasis on innovation and technology. The East Asian Tigers or the Asian Tigers recognize the importance of innovation and technological advancements. They encouraged research and development, invested in technological parks, and fostered an environment conducive to entrepreneurship and innovation. It should be noted that the East Asian Tigers, unlike the African Lions, they didn't have a lot of raw materials like us, the African countries. So they had to put more of the emphasis into technology and innovativeness, so that they can explore other means. Whereas we, the African lions, had a lot of raw materials that they had to explore. So that is the difference. Number 6, strong political environment. Political stability played a crucial role in the success of the Asian tigers. Their governments provided long-term stability, which allowed the consistent policies and implementation of economic strategies. Favorable business environment is the 7th. The Asian tigers established favorable business environments, including low levels of corruption, efficient legal systems, and strong intellectual property protection. These factors attracted foreign investments and facilitated business growth. Finally, because of time, I'm not going to really iron all of them out, but they also had strong work ethics and discipline, where they are known for hardworking, efficiency, and being dedicated to their work. All this contributed to their economic success. Strong social harmony and cooperation. They prioritized social stability and harmony, which helped create a conducive environment for economic development. They developed labor unions, and government put in a lot of money to support the labor unions. Because of time, I'll stop here and move on to discuss the next bullet. So I'm going to continue and discuss the distinction between the two administrative systems, that is of the Asian tigers and the African lions. 1. Economic development. The Asian tigers achieved remarkable economic development characterized by high GDP per capita and industrialization, whereas on the other hand, the African lions often faced economic challenges, including low GDP per capita and dependence on agriculture. Governance and political stability. The Asian tigers have generally enjoyed more stable political environment characterized by peace, security, and good effective governance structures, which have contributed to efficient administrative system compared to the African countries, which have faced multiple political instabilities and governance issues. You hear a lot of coups happening in countries. You remember the 2007 election, post-violence in Kenya. So all these issues that have characterized the African administrative systems. Education and human capital. The Asian tigers prioritize education and skill development, resulting into highly educated and skilled workforce. In contrast, education disparities and skill shortages are common with African lions. You find that even if we attract foreign investors, you find that we are lacking in aspects of skilled labor or manpower to work in these industries. So they still have a long way to go. Infrastructure and technology. Asian tigers invested significantly in modern infrastructure, including transportation, telecommunication, and technology. And in contrast to the African lions, we have inadequacy in infrastructure, limited access to technology, even just technological know-how is a problem, which has hindered our administrative effectiveness in African nations. Corruption and transparency. African tigers typically have low levels of corruption and greater transparency in government operations, compared to the African countries where corruption is the order of the day. You find that infrastructure that is meant to have spent maybe $100 million, you find about $80 million is spent just on administrative part of it, but the actual work takes about 20 to 30% of that. So really, it is a very big challenge that has affected development. Industrial diversification. The Asian tigers have diversified their economies into various industries, including manufacturing, finance, technology, whereas African lions often rely heavily on agriculture. We are more agrarian economies with a limited diversification. which can influence the administrative focus and priorities. Foreign investment and trade. The African tigers have successfully succeeded in attracting FDIs and engaging in global trade, which drives economic growth. Today, we find all the good products are coming in from countries like South Korea, Taiwan, and we are always struggling with attracting investments and poor quality products in our markets. Cultural historical context. Cultural and historical factors play a role in shaping administrative systems. Asian tigers have unique cultural backgrounds and historical experiences that have influenced their governance structures, whereas African nations have diverse cultural contexts that impact to the administrative systems in place. This one is believes in bureaucracy. The other one says, me, I'm a Muganda, I don't believe in this. So you find all that affects the development of the nation. Development goals. The Asian tigers have typically pursued export-led growth and industrialization strategies, whereas African lions often prioritize poverty reduction, food security, and basic infrastructure development, which influences their administrative priorities. I'll quickly go and handle the differences between the two systems, the Asian tigers administrative system and the African lions. Asian tigers, I begin with size and population. Asian tigers have a smaller size with dense populations, whereas the African lions usually have a larger size in population with diverse populations, often comprising of multi-ethnic groups. Foreign investments. Asian tigers attract significant foreign direct investments, whereas the African lions vary in their ability to attract and utilize foreign investments effectively. Infrastructural development. High quality infrastructure development is a priority for Asian tigers, whereas in the African lions, infrastructure development can be hindered by budget constraints and political instability. The healthcare systems. African lions' healthcare access and quality can be uneven across countries, whereas with Asian tigers, theirs is generally well-developed healthcare systems. Urbanization. High levels of urbanization and planned urban development is a characteristic of the urban tigers, whereas in African countries, rapid urbanization with challenges related to informal settlements is the order of the day. Innovation and technology. The tigers have invested heavily in research and development, whereas the African lions face challenges in adopting and promoting technological advancements. Global influence. The Asian tigers exert significant influence in regional and global affairs, whereas the African lions vary in their international influence, with some playing key roles in regional politics. Those are the differences. I will now go and handle the major successes of each systems. The Asian tigers. South Korea success can be attributed to a strong central government, export-oriented industrialization, and investment in education. The government played a key role in planning and guiding economic growth. Taiwan's administrative system emphasized land reforms, education, and infrastructure development. It also fostered a conducive environment for small and medium-sized enterprises. Hong Kong's administrative system characterized by low taxes, free trade policies, and a transparent legal system, which attracted international businesses and investment. As far as Singapore is concerned, their efficient and corrupt-free bureaucracy, pro-business policies, and strategic geographical location made it a global trade and financial hub. When you talk about the African tigers, but anyway, generally, when you look at African tigers, countries like Nigeria, they have been working on improving its business environment and reducing corruption through initiatives like the ease of doing business reforms. It is also Africa's largest economy, Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, administrative reforms and investment in agriculture, particularly in cocoa production, have contributed to economic growth. But generally, all these systems have robust economic growth. African Lion countries have achieved remarkable economic growth. For instance, Ethiopia consistently maintained the GDP growth rate exceeding 7% annually. Natural resource management is one of the successes. Infrastructural development, you see infrastructure is developed in both the Asian tigers and African lions. They are both attracted foreign direct investments. There is an aspect of technology and innovation. Kenya is the lead on African lands as far as technology is concerned. Diversification of economies, political stability, all these are the key successes. Good governance, access to markets, agricultural production, tourism and hospitality, youth empowerment and education, to mention but a few. I'll quickly go and handle the strategy. Quickly go and handle my strategy. Okay, but before that, let me just in 1 minute, let me talk about the major failures of the systems, or administrative systems: income inequality, environmental degradation, lack of political pluralism and inclusiveness, pressure on education, aging population, over-reliance on exports, corruption, social conformity pressure, limited social safety nets. All these are challenges that are common in the two administrative systems. African, the political instability that is very common in African lion countries, economic disparities, infrastructure challenges, conflict and violence, healthcare deficiencies, education gaps, corruption and mismanagement, food insecurity, limited access to clean water. So quickly, in the remaining few minutes, let me discuss the approach that I designed that combines the two strategies and the assumptions. I've given it a name: Pan-Continental Development Fusion, with the following assumptions: hybrid economic model, which assumes combining the export-led growth approach of Asian tigers and the diversified local-oriented strategies of African lions. 2, education and skill development. The approach places a strong emphasis on education, vocational training, and skill development, recognizing the Asian tigers model success in creating a skilled workforce. Local empowerment. The Pan-Continental Development Forum emphasizes community empowerment and decentralization in decision making, as inspired by the African Lions model. Infrastructure modernization. The approach assumes substantial investment in infrastructure development, learning from the Asian tigers models of infrastructure-driven economy. Environmental sustainability. The PCDF is committed to environmentally sustain and incorporate eco-friendly practices and policies, echoing the ASEAN Tigers model balance between industrialization and environmental stewardship. Inclusive governance. PCDF prioritizes inclusive governance and citizen engagement to build trust in government institutions and ensure representation for all segments of society. Public-private synergy or public cooperation. The approach encourages collaboration between the public and private sector. Cultural preservation, long-term commitment, and to conclude, the Pan-African Pan-Continental Development Forum presents a comprehensive approach to administration that combines the strength of Asian tigers and African lion strategies, aiming to create a sustainable and inclusive development model that reflects local culture and addresses regional challenges. I thank you for listening to me, and allow me end here, unless there is any question.